Okay, so we ended our last video after doing our 6 paragraphs on starting your annotated works cited. We got about this far when we ran out of time in the video. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go over to our sources and make sure that they're in alphabetical order. Keep in mind that we have to follow the rules of the Library of Congress that says that we cannot include words like the, the, a, or an when we're doing our alphabetizing. Now, those words are not in here, but say for an example, if they were in this title at the top of the page, if it said the drug war statistics, well, I would simply ignore the word the if it were there and alphabetize it by the very next word, which is drug. Alright, well, looking at this, just glancing, you'll notice D, G, S. Alright, that is in fact in alphabetical order. So I am going to simply copy this information that I had typed up before, and I'm going to paste it over here on my annotated works cited page. Now, what I'm going to do now is I am going to go to the end of my citation. I'm going to hit delete, and then I'm going to highlight my MLA citation. Then I'm going to go up here and I'm going to turn it bold. This is done so that you can tell that there is an obvious difference between the citation and the summary. Alright, so then I'm going to highlight my summary. I'm going to go up here to Tools, Word Count. Alright, now you're only required to do 45 to 75 words. Obviously, I wrote more than that, and that's okay. So 85 words are in this summary. So after the period, I'm going to put in parentheses 85, close my parentheses, and that's it for that citation. Now, I'm going to do the exact same thing for the rest of my sources. Now, if you happen to interview 2 people or 3 people, you're just going to continue this process for every person that you interviewed. Okay, so here is my summary, my word count. I've got 70. Alright, so I'm going to go over here and I'm going to put 70 in there. Alright. Delete. Now, because I interviewed a teacher, then I only had to do one interview. Some people were noticing that I used John Smith. For your interviews, you're actually going to have to use their actual names, but because of the fact that my topic, I wanted that particular individual to give me a very clear answer, and it's a topic that most people don't necessarily want to comment on, I went ahead and gave that person anonymity, and that's why he's got the title John Smith. Okay. At the top of your page, you're going to notice that you've got a ruler, and on that ruler you've got what looks like an upside down house. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to drag the triangle after you've highlighted your sources and your summaries. You're going to take that triangle and you're going to take it to the halfway point, halfway between where you started and the number 1. What it's going to do is it's going to drag all of that information over and to the right. You're going to then go to the top, this little square on the top, grab that, and take it back where you started. Now what this does is it's called a hanging indentation. It makes it far more easy to see the different sources, especially if they're longer sources like this one. You use this not only in annotated works cited, but also in a quote-unquote normal works cited page. Alright, so now that we've done our essay, we've done our annotated works cited, now it's time to prove essentially that you did an interview. Now you're going to do that by adding what's called an appendix. Alright, so you're going to add a page break again, and at the top centered portion of the page, you're going to do this for each of your interviews. So if you did 2 interviews, you're going to have 2 of these. If you had 3 interviews, you're going to have 3 of these. I only had 1, so I'm going to have 1. So appendix, colon, interview with, and I'm going to put the name of that person, John Smith. Alright. So I'm going to take it out of center, and then I'm going to go over to where I had typed up my questions. Now, you don't have to have this information here. I'm going to go ahead and include it just because I wanted my person, or my audience, to be very clear that the questions were answered by a local high school teacher, and it's not like I simply made them up. Alright, so I'm going to copy them, and I'm going to paste them right underneath my title. Alright, now some people have noticed that it has an addendum. What that just means is the person I interviewed went above and beyond. That person said, not only am I going to answer your questions, but I'm going to add to it, and that's why I have an addendum. Alright, now comes the part that's going to go extremely fast, so you might need to rewind it a couple of times and make sure that you are with me, because it gets a little confusing if you're not. Okay, so you're going to, on your keyboard, hold down the Control key and the A key. What that's going to do is it's going to highlight everything on your page. Alright. I'm going to go up here where it says normal text. It should be in normal text. If it's not, then put it onto normal text. Then you're going to go right next to it where it says font. Click on that, and then you're going to click on Times New Roman. If you're not the kind of person to use Times New Roman a lot, you're going to have to search for it. So everything has to be in Times New Roman. The next part that's non-negotiable is a 12-point font. Has to be in 12-point font. Now, with that in mind, it's going to mess up some of your alignment in places, and so we'll go back through and make sure everything makes sense. Then I'm going to go here where it says line spacing, and I'm going to make sure that I click on double, because everything has to be double spaced. And so that made my essay pretty long, and because I know that in my essay there was a part where you'll see right here I color coded some parts, I'm going to go over here to, this is one I have a hard time finding. Okay, it's right next to your bold, your italics, your underline, it's text color. And you're going to bring it down and make sure that everything is the same color, which it should be black. Alright, so I'm going to go back through and just make sure that everything in there is double spaced, all my paragraphs are indented, everything surface level looks pretty neat. That's my goal. It's looking good so far. Sometimes when you change the spacing, it'll kind of mess up some of your the extra pages and that kind of thing. So you just need to make sure that you look through it again. Okay, well this looks pretty good. You'll notice that by the time I was done with this, and again guys, keep in mind I tend to get a little wordy, I tend to write a little more. My paper, I had 1, 2, 3 full pages of text. I had a little more than 1 page of an annotated works cited, And then I had 2 pages, or 3 pages rather, of an interview. So it got pretty lengthy. We're now at 8 pages long. So it's not a hard and fast rule of how many pages you have. You just have to have all of the parts. Alright, so the very last thing you're going to need to do is you're going to hit print, and you're going to print out a copy and turn it into me. Alright, thank you so much, and I will look forward to reading your essay. Bye-bye.